Tonight, a southeast Portland neighborhood is traumatized. Neighbors say that a man shot a person and stabbed two others.
That man is now in court. Fox 12's Paulina Aguilar is at the courthouse with details of what happened that night. Paulina?
Well, Pete and Riel, Tyler Price pleaded not guilty to more than a dozen charges in court today. We did speak to one of the victims who wants to remain anonymous. He says that he is still shocked at the events that transpired that evening. He says that he happens to live about 400 feet from the suspect, but never seen him nor has ever spoken with him.
He was legitimately trying to kill me.
A neighbor who remains anonymous recalls the evening of May 22nd while he was taking his dog for a walk.
But he just comes running up and kind of punches toward me with a kitchen knife and stabs me in the front of the throat.
Portland police say just before 9 o'clock, they arrived at a shooting on the 10,400 block of Southeast Clinton Street, where they found a man shot. Court documents say Tyler Price shot his brother's friend in the shoulder and pointed the gun at his brother's girlfriend, who was also inside the home. Court documents say the 29-year-old suffered a self-inflicted gunshot wound to his hand. The spree then continued all within a 1 block's radius. Police allege Price slashed the hand of a female neighbor with a knife and menaced a third neighbor also with a knife. Price then allegedly ran with a knife in hand and encountered the 5th neighbor.
It happened so quick, you don't even have time to think about it. So I didn't realize. It took me a moment to realize what had happened, and at that point, I'm kind of fighting him off with the only thing I had, which was a water bottle.
That's when police tased and arrested him.
On page 3491, last of Price.
Price stood in court facing more than a dozen charges.
He managed to avoid anything important. I spent about 2 days in the trauma ward. Most of the injury was from the force of the impact rather than the blade.
Yeah.
You know, because it was a pretty hard punch to the neck.
He says his main concern is his family's safety.
I'm worried about my kids' mental health. They've been having nightmares because of it. I get paranoid about letting them outside the house now.
Price is facing 13 charges, including assault and attempted murder. Reporting from downtown, Paulina Aguilar, Fox 12 Oregon.